Salt Lake City, and 102.7 KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know. News update. This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Yeah, I haven't really had them yet, so I think this afternoon we're going to figure that out.
Aaron, what's it like?
Oh, it's preseason. It's not real football. So if I do, great. If not, great.
Aaron Rodgers, great. Preseason football. Got 5-6 games tonight if you want to check them out. Although I think most people have about the same passion for preseason football that Aaron Rodgers does, but it's out there.
That's not true. The Hall of Fame game averaged almost 8 million, which was larger than any NBA regular season game.
Get out.
So you just made an inaccurate statement.
I'm out of step with America. At least 8 million Americans. Packers and Steelers tonight. Titans, Niners, Chargers, Texans, Cardinals, Raiders. Bunch of Western teams playing.
Freaking TV guide now?
Yeah, pretty much. 2 quarterback battles have some resolution. The Cleveland Browns say they're going to go with Deshaun Watson as QB1 for their preseason opener, while the Falcons have tabbed Tua Tagovailoa as their starter for Week 1.
But I don't know in the case of the Browns, but I know that the Falcons came out and said he is not named the starter.
For regular season game 1. It's all about what you do in the preseason and then go from there.
Regular season game 2 and 3 and 4 and so forth and so on.
Bears coach Ben Johnson has an ambitious goal for the team. He wants them to have the highest scoring offense ever. Says you get 31 other teams coming to training camp saying our goal is to win the Super Bowl. I want more than that. I want shutouts. I want blowouts.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to be 6'2", and I'm not. And I wanted to drive the ball 300 yards, and I don't.
Other things you'd like. And go.
New radio partner.
Oh. Well, you're going to get one Monday in a way, actually, but that's another story. We'll get to that later. Yeah.
I can't wait.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels has informed LSU it can no longer use his name, image, and likeness. According to an August 5th letter sent to Tigers athletic director, the reason is the Tigers are allowing sophomore corner DJ Pickett to wear number 5 that Daniels wore when he became LSU's third Heisman Trophy winner in 2023. His jersey had not been retired by the Tigers, but he's irritated. So they don't get to use his name, image, and likeness. Take that. Were they marketing him a lot down there? Still selling his jersey, maybe?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know his mother is involved heavily in that. I mean, in his the time there against ranked teams, it was the starting quarterback. The record was 3-5.
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey wants everyone in the league to move carefully when adding players who are allowed by court rulings to seek a 5th year of eligibility. Sankey's memo said schools should operate under existing NCAA rules, interpretations, and applicable league rules until advised otherwise. Since when is the SEC not aggressive on stuff like that? Letting somebody else have a 5th year senior who can play and help the team. And they're supposed to stand down? See if that lasts. DJ PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Russell Westbrook, who played 18 NBA seasons with 7 different teams, announced his retirement yesterday. He had offers to play with the Kings or the Wizards this year, but he decided to hang them up. PK.
Hang them up with the Kings and the Wizards?
No, his shoes.
Oh. You never mentioned shoes.
His warm-up jersey.
The last nouns you referenced were the Kings and the Wizards.
Hang him up is a popular expression. I think you knew exactly what I meant. Hang them up.
Well, you never mentioned anything about Zapatos.
Put the Kings and the Wizards up on a shelf.
What's the last team he played for?
Man, he bounced around so much. Was it Sacramento? I was going to go to Sacramento.
He had 6 teams after he left the OKC Thunder.
Let's see. He was Rockets, Lakers, Kings. Ooh, 6 more I got to come up with, huh?
No, I said 6.
Or 3 more.
After you.
Yeah, okay, 3 more. I'm struggling. Where'd he play? Give me the other ones.
Washington, the Clippers, and Denver first season.
Okay. The debate begins. Is he a Hall of Famer? A lot of you weighing in on our Facebook page. We'll get to that coming up. I expect he will be. We can get to that later in the show. NBA will announce the full league schedule, including the Utah Jazz schedule. It's coming up today at 1 o'clock. So Scotty G and Tim Lacombe will have the Jazz schedule. The holidays are out. They've released a few games here and there. See what the Jazz get.
And let me be the first media member to go on record that the NBA really did the Jazz wrong by this schedule. I want to be the first one to say it.
There it is. Now it's out there. Anticipating too many back-to-backs, long road trips.
They did them no favors.
Only gave them 41 home games because they had to.
Brother.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Bregman swings, and it's a high fly ball deep left center field. Number 3, it's gone. What a night for Alex Bregman. 3 home runs, this one a 2-run job, and the Cubs now up 12-5 here in the 8th.
Here's Pitts, swung on, hit pretty well to the gap in right center field. Going back, and it's gone! A home run for Trent Grisham. This time a 2-run shot, and the Yankees are in double figures. It's 10-5 Yankees.
This ball is popped up, foul ground, first base side. Freddie Freeman on the warning track. He's reaching. Oh, he falls. Oh, no, he falls into the Kansas City dugout. And he fell a long way. Now Royals players and Miguel Rojas in there to help him up. But he didn't know that he was on the steps.
Luis swings, lines it into right field, a base hit. Here's the throw to the plate. Sanchez is tagged. He's safe. Padres walk it off. Song got underneath the tag. Camposano wins it. The Padres complete the sweep, 4-3.
Highlights around Major League Baseball. You were correct, PK. The Padres, after a double-digit game, struggled to hit the ball, but so did the Brewers. So the Padres get out of there with the win in 11, 4-3. Played some small ball to get that tying run in to tie the game at 2. Walk, stolen base, infield single, scoring runs. They had all kinds of stuff going on there. So they win and get the sweep. They're sitting in a wild card spot. You heard in there a 3-home run game for Alex Bregman, the first 3-run home game of his 11-year Major League Baseball career. He leads the Cubs to a 12-6 win over the Nationals. Hitting a little under 400, 388 since July 27th. He's been on fire with 6 home runs and 26 hits in that stretch. Yankees with a big win. They pound the Mariners 10-5. They've had some ups and downs this year, as many teams have, but it looks like they have righted the ship here a little bit. The Red Sox, who were having a great month and a half, have now dropped 5 in a row. Blue Jays beat them 6-4. Well, I think they were like 18-3 since the All-Star break, and 17-3, so 17-8 is not bad. That's still a good stretch, but hasn't been a great week for the Red Sox. Anything in baseball catch your eye, interest you? Any stories you enjoy?
The Field of Dreams game is tonight.
That it is. Dyersville, Iowa, Philly, and Minnesota. Netflix at 5:30.
I was coming on with Jake Scott last week when Ben was out, so I'm listening to the prior segment or so, see what they're talking about. And he references Kevin, what's the guy's name? Costner. And he references as the guy from Dancing with Wolves. And I came on and came unglued.
You let him have it, huh?
Yes.
He's the guy.
He's not the guy from Dancing with Wolves.
It's the guy from Field of Dreams.
He must be the guy from Field of Dreams. They have that, and they did it 4 years ago, and it was a knockout. Tonight, they're doing it. The Phillies and Twins, I think, are the teams, but they're Netflix, so I have to connive that one. and it was such a hit. It was just unbelievable. A movie that there's never been a sports movie that moves you to the degree that Field of Dreams does.
Dad, catch. There it is, pushing your buttons.
And he says, well, he won an Academy. I said, how do you he won an Academy? The Oscars, they're nothing but the Democratic National Convention. Why would anybody watch that? So I took away his man card. The guy from Dances with Wolves. I'll accept the guy from Bull Durham, but I will not accept the guy from Dances with Wolves.
What about the guy from Tin Cup? I mean, he's made a few sports movies here.
Yeah, and he had that draft thing, but I would live with those, but not the guy from Dances with Wolves. That is a disgrace. That's right there with one of those guys. I heard him say that football is the masculine toxicity or something. Yeah, you're darn right it is. And we don't make no apologies for it.
What time's the game kickoff?
Any game.
I'll be there.
Right. Give me a break. Goodness.
Can he be the guy from Yellowstone?
Well, that's a TV show. So
okay.
He could be the guy from Cal State Fullerton, for that matter.
He is a Titan. All right, Field of Dreams tonight, Dyersville, Iowa. They will walk in out of the corn tonight. Philly and Minnesota, 5:30. They're at the stadium they built, right? They're not playing the actual movie set. Right down the road, though.
Yeah, I think they had a minor league game there. Was it last night or the night before?
Bees fall in El Paso, 5-2. They play again tonight at 6:35. Tony Park's on the call, 6:20 on 1280 The Zone. DJ and PK.
#golf.
PGA Tour's in Memphis, Tennessee. It's the FedEx St. Jude Championships. FedEx Cup playoffs are underway. No local players made the 70-player postseason field this year. Have to make the top 50 to qualify for next week. They are, looks like they're out on the course already, PK.
Yes, they are.
All right. Keep you updated on that. DJ and PK, that's what's trending. Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. No job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, 8 o'clock, Angelique Shenglis from the Michigan, covers from the Detroit News. She covers the Michigan Wolverines. Kyle Whittingham making news. Does he hate Ohio State? Will it help him win if he did? We'll talk with her about Kyle and how it's going in Detroit. Eric Pincus, national NBA writer for Bleacher Report, LA-based, all about the sale of the Lakers. News broke during yesterday's show, $12.5 billion. The Lakers are getting flipped like a 4-bedroom starter home. What is going on? We'll talk with Eric Pincus at 9 o'clock. And we got tickets to the Utah Royals to give away. We'll do that in the 8 o'clock hour. DJ and PK coming up next. Question of the day. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
Joining us now, it is the head coach of the Utah State Aggies, Bronco Mendenhall.
I know you're so process-driven and there's a plan to every part of the season, but is this your favorite part?
There's an excitement that comes to the start of every season for sure. I would have to say, just in terms of full transparency, I really like the off-season. I like the molding, forming, crafting, forging the next team through the weight workouts and through the runs and through the early morning workouts and through spring practice. I think that's my favorite era. Nothing takes away from the season, or can it take the place of the season, and the excitement going into today certainly at a really high level. I think foundationally that my favorite part is the formation of the team, and now this part where you get to see kind of the fruition of the formation of your program.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty G and the Coach tomorrow from 10 to 2 at Tim Dahle Mazda, 10785 South Automobile Drive in Sandy. Question of the morning. At PK, it got a lot of reaction. Russell Westbrook retired. Does he belong in the Hall? Jared says, as a two-time Jazz man, yes, he does. Steve says only two players have over 10,000 assists and 25,000 points. It's LeBron and Westbrook. It's a no-brainer. He's getting in. Russell says, by the numbers, yep, he's in.
I don't think numbers tell the entire story, but when it comes to Hall of Fames, they tell a lot of the story. That is absolutely for sure. That's factual.
Joshua says, number one in triple doubles. He belongs in the Hall.
Triple doubles. That has become an overrated stat.
Matthew says, absolutely.
It would have been better for Westbrook if everybody and their dog wasn't getting them. Oscar Robertson averaged, and then it went for 50 years, and then he did it, and it was so special. Well, everybody does it.
Give the Joker the ball and watch him rack up the triple doubles. Harden was racking up triple doubles. It's a long list.
Statistically, it's hard to argue why he wouldn't be. But a lot of that is just the fact that he was healthy enough to play 18 years in the league. If you have 18 years in the league, you should have some kind of stats. So you got to be careful that it's not just stats-based.
Well, you want some winning. He doesn't have a title, but there's plenty of guys without titles in the league. The fact he did go to an NBA Finals in his career, I think, gives him some of that. And then also, we got here people pointing out he is a former MVP, and the only MVP not in is Derrick Rose, who had an injury-shortened career.
But Westbrook shot 30% from three. I thought you suck, and you can't be a player if you shoot 30% from three. And here we're putting him in the Hall of Fame, and he shot 30% from three. That's all I heard in May and the first part of June.
Yep.
Oh, no, he can't shoot the three. Everybody's going to sag off of him, blah, 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 blah.
Yep. And it'll hurt the winning, and that's why there's no titles and one trip to the finals.
That's it, because he shot 30% from three.
It's a factor. There's obviously plenty of other reasons, but it is a factor.
Wow, that's a factor? So he's not good enough, but he's in the Hall of Fame.
See?
That doesn't really make sense to me.
Earl says, yes, he's in the Hall, but I would never want him on my team. He's not a winning player. I love his effort and his peak athleticism, but he doesn't know how to win. You go in the Hall and you don't know how to win? Seems like an oxymoron, a conundrum.
Next up, the man who didn't know how to win, Russell Westbrook. Thank you. Didn't know how to win.
Richard says, I know he's hated here, but he most definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. First ballot, too. Like it or not, he has an incredible resume.
Well, I don't understand how you are a Hall of Famer 5 years after you're first eligible, but you weren't in the beginning. Your stats, which you're basing it on, didn't change at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're cemented now forever, assuming there is no return, which at age 37, I don't think there's going to be. So this is going to be his resume literally until the end of time. And so if it's good enough, it's good enough. I don't understand. It's not good in the first couple years, but it's good in year 5. That never really made sense to me. You got to stay on the ballot and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, 5, 10, 15 years.
You got it or
right.
you don't. I have no problem going in, but it's just this idea, A.J. DeBont's at 30%, and he's going to be a bust. We can't have him on our team. Everybody will sag off. It'll clog. There'll be no space. Blah, 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 blah. Gosh, we're now 3-point percentage is the new TV ratings, where that is the gold standard.
The gold
TV
standard,
ratings.
the end all, the be all.
Yes.
The alpha, the omega, the beginning, the end. Dave says the Basketball Hall of Fame is a pretty wide tent. He's definitely getting in as a former MVP and a 9-time All-Star. Can't deny all those accolades. You pile them up every year.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put the numbers next to them.
Yeah.
The 10,000 assists, the 25,000 points.
Sure. Yeah.
Nicholas, I'm not sure. He's a stat collector. That's all he is. He cares about winning.
Not at all. Yeah, I watched him play at Lusinger High in the South Bay of L.A. He couldn't care less about winning.
Lusinger High.
He's a South Bayer, man.
Oh, man. Yak, you ever hear of Lusinger High? People think PK made that up. He did not make that up.
Actually, I do know it because BYU's newest freshman running back is a losing
high
product.
Yeah, he was the Daily Breeze Player of the Year, man.
That's Leuz, not Losi.
I didn't know this about Russell Westbrook. He showed up at Lusinger at 5'8".
Yeah, 5'8", 140.
Jeez.
And he had a buddy who the two of them were going to go play for up the road at UC Los Angeles, and the other one tragically had an enlarged heart, was playing in a pickup game, something like that, and at the LA Southwest College, right down the street from where my wife worked, and he died.
Just collapsed right there in the game?
A little Hank Gathers thing there. And so for the rest of his career, Westbrook wore a wristband or something along those lines with some initials or something in remembrance of his best buddy.
He was also on his shoes a lot of the time, too.
And then Westbrook then grew 7 inches.
And now he's a player.
Became all that, yeah, right. And so he gets the scholarship. One of the last ones, I believe, the story goes, it for his hometown team, and did what he did there, and went on to the NBA. He was in the NBA with Oklahoma City at age 20. Played all 82 games. Played all 82. 4 of it his first 5 seasons. Something to be said for that. And was a starter right off the bat, basically. Started 65 games at age 20. Now that was a team that could withstand that. Shot 39% from 3. Oh, my gosh, he sucked. No, actually, he was pretty good. And then, but only 27% from 3 and 41% because he was such a wild athlete. And by wild, I just mean incredible, not out of control. And he played so fiercely, and no one played more angry than him. And he did get, I believe he got better and better. And he was a controversial figure because he would speak out, and he was charismatic, and he had those run-ins with Trammell, and then he had the guy here. What was his name? They call him Napoleon, but I can't think of his name.
Ben Wilson.
Ben Wilson, yeah, good dude. And he asked him in the locker room, did they win, or did you lose the game, or did the Jazz win it? What? You a tripper. And then he drops the N-word. And that became a soundbite. And then there's another one I saw where Trammell goes to ask Steven Adams a question, essentially like when you go off the court, the team stinks, what's up? And Westbrook takes over and gives, you're not going to divide us, blah, 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 blah. And you just answers for Adams. And, of course, Barry's, what's a legitimate question? Why can't he answer? He still hasn't said anything. And Adam's just standing there. Those two went at it for many, many years, for basically his entire time, which was, I think, about 10 years he played in Oklahoma City before he started his journey around the league. And he was a feisty guy. Everybody knows that. But I think, now that he's done, the title, sure, that would have been great, obviously. But I think he can look himself in the mirror, which I think is more important than the title. Maybe not, but in a non-tangible way, because if it's a tangible, you won the title, right? And you can have that forever, for sure. But I think he can look himself in the mirror and said, whatever I had, I got it out of me. I maxed out as much as possible of my talent. There's something to be said for that. If you can say, I could have done, you could make more shots and all that. But in terms of the effort, I laid it out there. I gave it my best shot. Here's my body of work. If some voters decide it, great. And I think they will. But I think he'd be able to live with himself knowing I put everything I had into this, laid it out on the line for almost 2 decades, and I never cheated anybody anything. Yeah, I had.
You guys lose this game, or did the Jazz win this one?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You tripping.
Bro, I'm out, man. That is tripping.
And so he liked a good confrontation.
Mix it up with the media. But to your point, when you close your eyes and you see him playing, the first thing I see is him flying by guys, driving, attacking the rim, playing hard, playing with a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Don't leave anything out there. Don't think, I wish I'd played harder. I wish I'd have played. He was going for it every time down the court.
Yeah, and so he took the uniform off himself. They didn't take him off. And he ought to be able to look, and obviously he's made millions, and so great, but they all do. That he ought to be able to just 10 years from now, whatever years from now, I laid it out on the line, man. I gave what I had. And if we won, great. If we didn't, well, there's winners and losers, and every time you lace them up, as you would say. So there should be some level of satisfaction that he put it all out there for 18 years. And obviously, as you get older, you're not going to be as good. Nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody will debate what you just said. I mean, he just played with such energy. The high motor, scouts like to talk about. So you don't have to look back and think, if I'd gone a little harder, if I'd done this, if I'd done that.
Right. He didn't cheat the fans, and I don't think he cheated himself. And he liked to have there had to be some enemy out there, whether it was the media or we know a fan said something from the fifth row or whatever it might be, all that stuff. But I like the fact that you can count on Westbrook when you put him in the game to give the game, which is that's the most important. Give the game, treat the game the way it deserves to be treated. And he can walk away saying, I did that. And I think even his biggest antagonist or hater or whatever,
detractor,
can look at it and say, yep, he laid it out there, man. And a lot of it's corporation, but for the fans who go and sit in the upper bowl, it costs money, a lot of money to do that if you want to take your son or your daughter or whomever. And you should have enjoyed the fact that he gave it. And stats be what they are. So be it. Are they good enough? Yeah, looks like they are good enough. And that's the way I would like every player to say that. I had a pathetic high school career. And I look back, maybe 30, 40, 50%. I had so much more to give that I could have given. And it's not like if I would have given all that I had, I would have been some big-time player. But I felt like, at that stage of my life, I really didn't understand. I could have lifted more. I could have worked out more. I could have run more. I could have done 100 different things that would have made me a better player and see how good I could have been. And as I got in my 20s and got my first newspaper job at the Casa Grande Dispatch, and I looked at my father doing what he did, being a janitor, come home for about an hour or so, and then go do the night job that he did the same thing, one for the city and one for a corporation. And I thought, I'm just going to give whatever I got. If it's good, great. If it's not, well, I'll let other people decide. But I'm not going to cheat the employer or the game, so to speak. And here we are all these years later, and I don't think that I think I still have that attitude. I'm not going to cheat the whatever. In this case, it's journalism, it's radio, and fortunately we can have fun with it too and all that stuff. And so I think that's admirable. And there's a lot of players. It's not like he's the only one. I mean, you can name dozens and dozens upon dozens who can say that they put it out there. And there's something to be said for that. And I think now that it's done, all the other stuff, all the nonsense, all the back and forth with media, it doesn't really matter. It's because he wasn't out there committing violations against the law. You know what I mean? That's another story. If you're doing that, or you're a coach sabotager and you're constantly complaining, blah blah blah. I don't think that is the case with him. So I would say now that he's done, he wasn't my favorite player by any stretch, but I can say Russell Westbrook, job well done.
I think the only question with him is, will he be a first ballot Hall of Famer or not? I expect he'll get in. I'd be really surprised if he didn't. The whole first ballot thing also depends. And I'm with you, do you really need to be on the ballot 10, 15 times? I mean, at some point you either get in or you don't. But the whole first ballot thing can depend on who else retires in that year and who else would be in the class. Actually, I think he set up pretty well in that regard. So, see if he gets in first ballot, but I'd be surprised if he's not in.
Well, what difference does it make?
It doesn't. I mean, it's something to say. It's kind of cool when you say it. It seems like it's a little extra.
I don't know. I watched the Hall of Fame guys in baseball, Jeff Kent. He seemed to be awfully happy.
Yeah.
He got in. It took a while. The most home runs by a second baseman and all that stuff. But he got in. And it was the veteran spiel.
By the time you get to the party?
Up to an individual, if that means something. I don't think the public can say, well, yeah, you weren't a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, I don't think people say that. But I think when they say he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, it's like it's a no-doubter. Everybody agrees. But you know what? If only 75.1% agree and you get in, well, you're still in. You're still going to
That's what I'm saying.
Canton, Cooperstown, Springfield, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt if you don't get it, but it is nice if you do get it.
I guess we would have to ask somebody like Dale Murphy on that. He's been up there a lot, and he just hasn't been able to get in. I don't think he's going to get in. But if he ever did, after the Veterans Committee and all that, I don't even know all the formulas they have. If that were the case, and he did get in, would he feel like it was lessened? Because I think he's about 70s now, 70 years old. That's pretty old to get in. But if it came to pass, would it really matter? Or would you just be, I'm a Hall of Famer, man. Who cares?
We can ask when he's on, but I would think the answer is what you just said. Nah, I'm a Hall of Famer, and everything else is details.
I think it's up to the individual.
Yeah. Well, as a former high school athlete, another kid running in circles for a couple of years, and I'd never even, I'm not going to be in my high school Hall of Fame or anywhere near it. I would think that if you're in, that's good. And maybe that's just because I never came anywhere near it. I was just trying to start some games. I would think if you're in, that's great. All the other stuff would be extra icing on the cake. That'd be great. But whatever. Just get there. You put on the jacket. You stand next to the bust, whatever the tradition is for whatever the sport is. Do the speechifying, the handshakes, the pats on the back. It's pretty cool. If you go to one of those things, and I've gotten to go to a couple to cover them for players with local ties who've gotten in, it just seems like it's one of those deals. Everybody's happy to be there. Seems like a big party. Seems like a good time.
Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, right?
It's a celebration. It's a culmination. Yeah. It's all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think, too, with basketball, it seems like they put in people who have no idea who they are. Because it's not an NBA Hall of Fame.
No.
Should the NBA have its own? Do they care enough?
Apparently they do not. I think it would be kind of cool if they did. But doesn't really matter. I mean, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's not the NFL Hall of Fame. They have a room with the history of the game, all the other leagues that have come and gone. And even though they went away, they still advanced the sport, grew the sport, took it to new places, launched new teams.
Yeah, but nobody's getting in now who isn't in the NFL.
No, it's all
it is.
It's all NFL now.
Right.
They've taken over.
Right. So it is the NFL Hall of Fame.
So you go to that thing and...
But the Basketball Hall of Fame, you don't even have to sniff the NBA.
No. There's international players. There's women going into that. There's coaches. There's players. They put broadcasters on. Broadcasters.
Basketball Hall of Fame. They leave it open-ended.
There's lots of different avenues.
So I wonder, should they have their own?
Where would you put it?
Who cares? What do you mean, where would I put it? I put it in Maui.
Rigby, Idaho.
Okay. No, I'm with PK Maui.
What difference?
I was walking down the street in Kansas City one day and looked over and like, oh, another Hall of Fame. There it is. They're all over the place.
Which, ironically, they have the Negro Baseball Hall of Fame there.
They do.
I've gone to it.
Yeah.
Yes. as my father being a big Negro Baseball Hall of League follower, living in East Orange.
The new season of Ted Lasso features the Negro Baseball Hall of Fame.
It's cool.
Well, he's a Kansas City guy, so yeah.
I went through it. Had some time, obviously traveling and work and all that stuff, and I did experience it, and I always wanted to. And I bought some Newark Eagles stuff in honor of my father, who used to talk about the Newark Eagles when he realized that I had gotten into baseball at age 1.5.
Right out of the crib into the game, huh?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I like it. I like it. The little street talk, my crib. Yeah.
I was talking literal crib, but sure. Well, you're still living in your father's crib?
I love it when you go whitey white.
I just didn't think, the baseball, you didn't have enough, when you're in the crib starting to stand up, a little toddler, you couldn't rotate all the way through, extend the arms. Bam!
I couldn't do it either when I was 17, so what was the difference?
You always underestimate how much you were playing up a year and how much that impacted and how good you could have been if you'd come back for one more year, which would have thrown off the rest of the timing of your life. I've thought about that with me, too, with our early birthdays.
Sure. And if I would have known, I would have petitioned the Glendale Union.
I want to play a year at 18, man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right. I think all the juniors, when I was a senior, were older than me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was way, way too young. And people think, oh, well, you're smart. No, actually, it was because my parents worked, and they sent me to kindergarten at 4 instead of 5. So that's why. And I was just telling someone, and I went to 8 years of Catholic school, and I was in the dumb class the whole year, every year, except for my 8th grade year, and they realized that might not be any good. And someone, a lady that oh, that's not true. I said, yeah, it was. We knew it. It is true. I am telling you gospel truth. We all knew it. Everyone knew it. We had 2 grades, 2 first grades, 2 second grades, 2 third grades, and so on. And everyone knew that we were the dumb class. Yes. And we reveled in it. We're stupid and we're proud of it. Yes. And then my
little chance as you march around the playground.
8th grade year, they did every other one because they thought somebody must have been, I don't know, some new study or something. I did create a chant, though, with the bathrooms. We used to hang out in the bathrooms, and the nuns didn't like that the boys would hang out in the bathrooms. We would just hang out in there. It's cold most of the time, right? You can go outside. So we would just hang in there. And then they came up with a rule that you can only have like 2 or 3 boys in the bathroom at the same time. So I started a protest. True story.
How old were you? What grade?
I was going to say, how old was you?
6th, 7th grade. I think 7th grade, maybe 8th. And we would stand outside in the hallway, and I started chanting, "Let me pee, let me pee, let me pee, let me pee." And everybody else followed along.
You still have a story I hadn't heard. That's the first time I've heard that one.
It's a true story.
I'm pretty sure I remember it. I will now.
And we weren't doing anything in there. It's not like we're drinking or doing drugs or whatnot.
Yeah, but they weren't sure, and they couldn't keep an eye on you. Yeah, couldn't keep an eye on you.
And so when the nuns would come in, because it was the boys' room, they'd go like this. And then you knew Sister Mary of Perpetual Motion is coming through. Yeah. But it's like we had nothing to hide.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out. I was not devious. Action-wise, the mind was devious, but the actions weren't.
Yuck, how'd they split up your elementary school? How'd that work?
Like in terms of neighborhoods?
No, like we had 3 classes. He had 2 at our elementary school. Had like 600 kids. We had 3 classes.
Yeah, we had.
And I found out from my 6th grade teacher they literally had a draft. Teachers were picking kids they wanted and mixing it up, so it wasn't the same class every year.
I think the statute of limitations has ended on this, but my uncle was my elementary school principal, so he would just slot me into whatever class he thought the best teachers were in.
Oh, look at you, preferential treatment.
It sounds bad, but that's what it was. So we had 3 classes in every grade, I think.
High school teammate just texted me. We all had more to give.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. There's probably some truth in that.
Yeah. Now that I think about it,
he's probably right.
Yeah.
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 But that's part of it is just figuring it out. I learned stuff playing basketball a couple years later, and I was like, man, I wish I knew that then.
But I know we got to go to break. But there's one thing that stuck with me is that when I was a freshman, we only had juniors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
because it was a new school.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So there's nobody in the senior class
on the campus.
Because those kids want to stay at their old school and finish
right.
there. Right.
So my class was actually the first ones to go all 4 years. So when we would go to games, we were playing places not in the community longer. Like I think we made a trip to Huma, right?
Oh wow!
So we'd all the freshman team, the JV team, and the varsity team would all be on the same bus.
Get in a bus and drive your hour across whatever.
Yeah. And so I'm a freshman, and there was a guy who was playing varsity, obviously who had been a junior, and he was a good player. And we would play like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I went back by the school like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I saw him on the field by himself, and they had a little backstop there, and he was putting the ball on the tee, and he was the only kid there, and he made All-State.
That's the more to give theory right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the story I told a couple of weeks ago with Brian Dunseth on the youth national deal, and there's 30 elite kids, and so they do their training and they watch their film and they go through their workouts, and then they'll go to the mall, and there's one kid who doesn't go, and he's dribbling around cones and banging the ball off the wall to himself, and they're like, that kid's odd. I mean, come on, let's go to the mall. And that kid was Landon Donovan.
Right.
And years later, Dunny's with you. Dunny's like, well, joke's on us, huh?
100%.
Why didn't we figure that out?
Right.
Why didn't we stand there and knock the ball off the wall so we could go play in Europe and we could go play in the World Cup? And Dunny captained the Olympic team. It's not like he didn't accomplish anything, but, just one more thing.
Yeah. And I think Westbrook can say that he's one of those guys.
Gave it all. Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Angelique Shenglis, Michigan beat writer for the Detroit News. Talk Kyle Whittingham, top of the hour. Stay with us.
Turn it up. Let's go. It's a new era for sports radio in Utah. This is the all-new KSL Sports Zone. As always, DJ and PK kick off your mornings from 6 to 10. Then introducing the newest addition to the KSL Sports Zone. The coach, Tim Lacombe, joins Scotty G every day from 10 to 2. And as you wrap up your day, Jake Scott and Ben Anderson are there with the best sports talk in Utah from 2 to 6. Live and local, all day, every day. Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is live, on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're going to talk with Angelique Shenglis, the Michigan beat writer for the Detroit News, coming up 8 o'clock. Our local teams, Utes, Cougars, Aggies, progressing towards their opener. BYU is going to get interesting first, PK, the early conference game. Arizona, very intriguing. Higher stakes earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, this is going to be a real interesting season for the Cougars. Kalani spoke yesterday and spoke on the topic of the week, and I think that he's right. Once ball starts, you hear that from players, and they'll say, "Okay, we negotiated, we didn't come to agreement. Now it's time for ball."
Yeah,
we'll get that down the road.
That's what we're hearing out of the Bucks, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and I think it should be, and as long as they win, that's the great deodorant. And somebody was asking me yesterday about Brian Santiago, and I said, I don't see his job being in trouble right now, nor should it be. I stand by Santiago 100%. And as far as him still being employed, because if you were going to let him go now, why'd you hire him in the first place? That's unfair to everybody involved. But they didn't, and he's going to go, and he's going to emerge from this, and I believe he's going to be fine. And Kalani has a little leverage, so he put the school and the program on notice and the department on notice, and he said he's always going to fight for his players, and good for him. And you can argue, well, it should have been behind closed doors, and I'm okay with that argument too, because I think Brian is looking like the bad guy here, and I'm not sure that is accurate, that he should be thought of as the bad guy. And let him grow into the job. Was he going to be the best he was going to be 1 or 2 years into it? Probably not. No. You have to go through experiences and learn from them.
We've talked about that with coaches, and it's just easier with coaches because you can look at W's and L's and kind of measure it. Bronco, Kyle, Kalani, years 2, 3, 5, where they really take off. Yeah. So why not the same thing with an AD? That Bronco quote applies to a football coach, but it could apply to a lot of jobs. It could apply to a trainer. Could apply to a lawyer, a doctor, an athletic director. I didn't know what I was doing the first year. Taking new jobs, moving to new cities, I always felt like I was completely lost the first year. One time around the calendar, okay, now I'm starting to get it.
Right. And I think that has to be the case here. Good for him. Clearly his supervisors understand that. And that would make the situation worse, I think. I don't think it would make it better. Who knows? That time may come down the line, or it may not be. Maybe he has this job for 20 years, and we look back, and it's a great run, and they've achieved unprecedented success across the board, which they want, while still maintaining the standards. Because it's a difficult job to try to win at all costs, but not really. And you have to have this standard here, which is you're asking people, not all of them, but a lot of people to come into the environment in which they know nothing about. I talked to that golfer, female golfer that I got paired up with a few weeks ago, and really, really good. She played at BYU for 4 years, and she's from Vegas. And she said, I had no idea. I knew nothing. I said, well, why'd you do it? Because they gave me the most.
And there it is.
And then she said, well, but I learned. I learned how to do it, and it was fine. I'm fine with it. I still live here.
The proof is in the pudding. Yeah. Actions speak louder than words.
Right.
All right, DJ PK, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Kyle Whittingham, how much do you have to hate Ohio State to be the coach of Michigan? Does it matter? How's he doing? How are some of the transfers doing? Angelique Chengelis, Michigan beat writer for the Detroit News, joins us next.